Hello, this is Faith at Faith and Books. I'm in my car again because the guy came to get us a contract for getting rid of the stink bugs on the screen porch, but the actual exterminator is coming today. So I still don't have my screen porch, and I'm using my car because the 4-year-old's mother who lives with us is working nights, and so she's just going to bed when I'm getting up, and I know I'd be too self-conscious to speak loud enough to make a video, so I'm okay going outside, but I don't want to be in the house talking out loud while she's trying to sleep, because even though our house looks nice, it was built really cheaply and you can hear everything going on. The walls are super thin. So anyway, I was going to do the poetry Springathon tag. I did participate in Springathon. I read Tarka the Otter. That was my fiction, and I'm glad I read it. It was a hard read, but I enjoyed it, and it's a classic, very powerful. And then for my nonfiction, I picked up a book that I thought was nonfiction. It turned out to be fiction. It was quite humorous, and I enjoyed that. That was called Radical Prunings. And then I tried to participate in the Instagram photo challenge, but I never connected with anyone else about it. So I don't think I did Springathon right. But anyway, I kept seeing this poetry Springathon tag, and yesterday, the day before, I managed to see, who did I watch? Brian at Bookish, I believe, and Hannah at Hannah's Books. And then I went and saw the original by Roz at Scally Dandling about the books. So, and she's the one that came up with the tag, and so I will link to hers below. And so I decided I would participate too. Poetry has always intimidated me because I don't feel like I'm natural with it. It's hard to read for me. But I've always liked it and been attracted to it and wanted to be smarter about poetry. So anyway, I came up with there are 5 prompts for Springathon. It was bird, what were they now? Bird, water, animal, plant, and travel or destination. So I came up with 2 for bird. And the first one, I remember learning about her. It's Emily Dickinson. I think I remember the day I first read this poem because we were studying her in literature class, and I remember lunch must have been right after that, because we went to the cafeteria and we were sitting around talking, and somebody was passing around either the textbook or a book of Emily Dickinson poems, and I remember reading them. And I might have read this one then because the image always stuck with me. And I remember I didn't quite get her. I found her kind of, obtuse or hard to understand, but I was also very fascinated by her very clipped chunks of ideas that she had sort of condensed into these tight little poems. And so this is for bird. This is my first poem for bird. They're all the poems I picked were really short. So bird. Hope is a thing with feathers. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that keeps so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. So that image of hope being a thing with feathers. And then related to that, when I was in high school, either my sister Paula had this poster in her room, a poster with this poem on it, or it was in a classroom. I can't remember, but I have a memory of it being on a poster with it might have been the seashore with a seagull flying or something like that. But it's Dreams by Langston Hughes. And it's just the image, the bird imagery, always stuck with me from this poem. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. So those are my 2 entries for bird. For water, this one I got almost right away because the first stanza I have memorized as a teen. And whenever I go to the beach and look out at the ocean and the horizon, I think of the first stanza. So it goes, sky and sea, horizon hinged, tablets of blank blue couldn't, clap shut, flatten this man out. So that's the first line from this poem by, the first stanza from this poem by Sylvia Plath, The Hermit at Outermost House. So I'll read it short. Sky and sea, horizon hinged, tablets of blank blue couldn't, clap shut, flatten this man out. The great god, stonehead, clawfoot, winded by much rock bumping and claw threat, realized that. For what then have they endured dourly the long hots and colds, those old despots, if he sat laugh-shaken on his door-sill, backbone unbendable as timbers of his upright hut? Hard gods were there, nothing else. Still he thumbed out something else, thumbed no stony horny pot, but a certain meaning green. He withstood them, that hermit, rock face, crab claw, verged on green, gulls mulled in the greenest light. Anyway, so that poem, I remember going through a Sylvia Plath phase, and that first stanza, I always think of it every time I go to the beach. And then the next prompt, this was the poem that I got first when I was reading the prompts. Because when I was a child, I got this book, The Jungle Book. And you can see, there's my little nameplate. And I love this one little poem that came before The White Seal. So this is Jungle Book. It's got Rikki Tikki Tavi in it. And then one of my favorite stories was The White Seal. And right before that, by Rudyard Kipling, is The Seal's Lullaby. So I'll read that. Oh, hush thee, my baby, the night is behind us, and black are the waters that sparkled so green. The moon o'er the combers looks downward to find us, at rest in the hollows that rustle between. Where billow meets billow, then soft be thy pillow. A weary wee flipperling curl at thy ease. The storm shall not wake thee, nor shark overtake thee, asleep in the arms of the slow swinging seas. So I love that poem as a girl. So that's my animal poem. That was the animal prompt. The next prompt is plant, and I'm just going to go corny here. Maybe this is really trite, but this poem is actually meaningful to me because when my youngest sister's Down syndrome, and when I was, I guess I was 12 or, middle grade kind of, she was at a center called the Kilmer Center for Special Education. And I remember one time, I don't know what kind of thing it was, but I got to go and volunteer for a whole day at her school. And that was a really meaningful event for me. And I think my younger sister did as well, and she wound up becoming a special ed teacher. She's been a special ed teacher for over 30 years. But anyway, so I associated Kilmer with that. And then just coincidentally, when my oldest daughter became a teacher, a school teacher, her first job, she'd done student teaching at a different school, but her first job was at the middle school located right next to the Kilmer Center, which is Kilmer Middle School. So, and I think that she also got a poster for her classroom with this poem, or maybe my husband bought it for her. I can't remember. But anyway, this is the poem Trees by Joyce Kilmer. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. So I really like that poem too, just because I feel such a connection with my creator out in nature. So that's a nice poem, a sweet poem that I appreciate, even if maybe it's considered kind of trite now. All right, and then the last prompt is destination or travel. And I was looking for a poem for this, and I was thumbing through a collection, and I stumbled on this one by John Henry Cardinal Newman. I actually did a series of reading his long poem, what was it, The Song of Gerontius. I did that back in November. I don't know how to link to things. I can put it in the notes, but I did a whole series of them back in November because it's a long poem. But this is a short poem, and it's not actually, well, it is about nature because we're all going to die, right? Our natural life is going to come to an end. And this poem uses imagery from nature, and it definitely has a feeling of going towards a destination. So, like, if you go to like anthologies, they don't give it the same title that he gave it. They just use the first line, lead kindly light. But he actually called it the pillar of the cloud, which of course references Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt and following the pillar of cloud in the day and then the pillar of fire at night. So it's the pillar of the cloud. Lead, kindly light, amid the encircling gloom. Lead thou me on. The night is dark and I am far from home. Lead thou me on. Keep thou my feet. I do not ask to see the distant scene. One step enough for me. I was not ever thus, nor prayed that thou shouldst lead me on. I loved to choose and see my path, but now lead thou me on. I loved the garish day, and spite of fears, pride ruled my will. Remember not past years. So long thy power hath blessed me, sure it still will lead me on, o'er moor and fen, o'er crag and torrent, till the night is gone, and with the morn those angel faces smile, which I have loved long since and lost a while. And he wrote that at sea, June 16, 1833. But then it came to me after I picked that one that the natural answer to this prompt for me would be this poem, which I pretty much have memorized. I'm afraid I'll stumble if I try to do it now, but I do have it pretty memorized. It's The Lake Isle of Innisfree by William Butler Yeats. Let me see if I can say it. I might not. I'm feeling nervous. All right, I'll just read it. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there, of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the crickets sing, where midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of linnets' wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore, while I stand on the roadway or on the pavement gray. I hear it in the deep heart's core. I don't know if I read that so well. But anyway, that's definitely a destination poem that has a lot of nature in it. So those are my poetry readings. I don't know how well I did, but I really enjoyed this tag a lot. I think it was a great idea by Roz at Scallydandling with the books. That's it. Scallydandling with the books. Anyway, so I will see you on Sunday when I'm going to make my my last Maze for Magazine video. Talk to you later. Bye.